The Chargers lost a heartbreaker to the Lions on Sunday, and I've got a lot on my mind today, and I'm going to talk about all of the issues that the Chargers have and how to fix them. And if you're also suffering as a Chargers fan, make sure to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this content, because I'm suffering right there with you. And let's talk about Brandon Staley. He continues to be the issue for the Chargers on both offense and defense. All right, now offensively, the Chargers run the ball way too much on early downs. They had 49 yards on 15 first down carries, which is actually better than how they have been throughout this season. But when they throw the ball, and this is just on first down, bro, I did the math, 9 for 12, 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. I understand that you can't abandon the run, but it is obvious that the success is not there. And if you keep getting behind the sticks on first down, it makes things harder for everyone on offense, the offensive line and Justin Herbert specifically. And I'm not saying that you can't run the ball on second and short or third and short, but first and 10, when you have been averaging close to 2 yards on the year, that means that you're putting the team in a second and long more often than not, and that is a recipe for disaster. The offense has not shown a lot of consistency, but I don't put that entirely on Brandon Staley. All the injuries have really battered them, and Keenan Allen, man, he has been incredible this year, along with Justin Herbert showing really good things. Even Josh Palmer, man, I'd put him in there with those guys. But with Justin's injury, Corey Linsley gone, heck, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer is even gone now, and the offensive line playing inconsistently. The offense has not been great this year, and at times it has just looked downright bad. It feels like if Justin Herbert doesn't have a world beater kind of game, that the Chargers have no chance to win. Remember that the Chargers couldn't score in the second half just about all year, and then all of a sudden against the Lions, they score 21 points in the second half, while the defense looks completely lost again. And now listen, I understand that the level of competition these past 2 weeks that the defense was playing was not good at all, but they looked worse than they did against the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Vikings, and maybe even the Dolphins, bro. I say maybe the Dolphins because they allowed 3 more yards, that's it, against the Dolphins with 536 total yards, and the Lions had 533, but they ran for 200 yards. So this game felt worse. And a big issue on defense, man, is they can't stop the top playmakers. Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Travis Kelce, and now Amon-Ra St. Brown. They even let up a 70-yard freaking catch to Treylon Burks. That was on Asante Samuel Jr. I remember that in week 2. The point is, the Chargers know how the other team wants to beat them, which is with their top playmakers. And for some reason, they are never able to stop it. Against the Lions, everyone knew that they were going to play smash mouth football and run the ball, so the Chargers played their interior defensive linemen a lot more than usual. I said this in my last video. Nick Williams, Austin Johnson, and Otita Ogbonnia, they all played more snaps than Morgan Fox and Tuli Tuipulotu. If you want to know why there was no pass rush, that is why. And also, the reason why that game plan didn't work is because the Chargers were just simply outcoached, bro. Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, shout out to him, throwing everything at this defense. And when the Chargers were expecting an inside run, they would toss it to the outside. When they thought it was going to be an outside zone run, they would play action. If the Chargers were trying to rush the passer on an obvious passing down, the Lions would call a screen pass or just attack the Chargers linebackers in coverage over the middle, because what are the Chargers going to do to stop that? On top of that, the Lions offensive line was just flat out better than the Chargers front seven, and there's really not much you can do about that. I also want to point out that under Brandon Staley, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, and Khalil Mack have all had some of their worst seasons of their careers, and it's not an issue of having the right personnel for Brandon Staley. He has the guys that he wants on defense now. It's just not working. And at times, it looks like the worst Chargers defense that I've seen in the past 10 years with all of these star players, dude. Now, I don't hate Brandon Staley, okay? And he has taken accountability for this season thus far, which is good because I think he absolutely should, and he has a lot of the blame. However, the Chargers have yet to hold him accountable. So if you have someone that is bringing the team down and taking accountability for not performing the way that they should, and you have no one holding them accountable, then what is the point? If Staley had a player that was bringing them down and didn't hold them accountable, then the team would never get better, and we would have questionable roster decisions and playing time decisions and star players not playing up to what we'd expect them to be. Wait a minute. That is exactly what we have been seeing under the Staley era. Tre McKitty made the team over Xander Horvath, a key special teamer and the only true fullback on this roster. Now they're throwing Jordan McFadden out there at fullback. After Tre McKitty's poor play, he was cut not even halfway into the season, and Xander Horvath is now on the Steelers practice squad. Isaiah Spiller and Elijah Dotson have been inactive almost all year when our running game has struggled since week 1. Why not give them a shot, especially considering that they thought highly enough of Spiller to draft him in the 4th round just this past year over guys like Tariq Woolen and Deron Bland, 2 really good cornerbacks that would be great to have over an inactive running back. And tight ends too, like Chiggy Okonkwo, Jake Ferguson, and Isaiah Likely. If the Chargers drafted one of them, then maybe Tre McKitty wouldn't have made the final 53 because of his draft status as a 3rd round pick the year prior over guys like Quinn Miners, literally taking the pick after him. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who literally just tore us up and made a much bigger impact in that game than Tre McKitty ever did on the Chargers. Also, in that same draft, we took Larry Roundtree over Khalil Herbert and Jonathan Cooper. So you can see my point here, I hope. Brandon Staley is not a great coach by any means. Yes, but Tom Telesco has not put as much talent on this team as we all think. We look at guys like Keenan Allen and Joey Bosa, Justin Herbert even, and we're like, oh my gosh, this team is so talented. But yeah, we have star players. Very little depth behind them. So when guys like Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Khalil Mack, even Justin Herbert, man, doesn't play as well as we want him to be because he is injured, but still, he has performances where he's not great. When they have bad performances like that, nobody can step up and lessen the blow of that poor performance that they can sometimes have. For every good pick that Tom Telesco has had, there's got to be 2 or 3 other picks that just look really bad. And then if you go back and look at some of the busts that we drafted and look at the guys taken after them, especially at positions of need on this team, I think that you would also want Telesco gone after this season. Just look into it. But listen, man, let's not be all doom and gloom, okay? I stay bolted up. You guys know that. I'm in a constant bolt up mode. There is still a path for success in this season, okay? The Chargers lost by 3 points. That is it. To the only team that beat the Chiefs at home this season. For as good as the Lions offense was, Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen were single-handedly keeping up with them. And if it weren't for Dan Campbell going for it on that 4th and 2 late in the game, the Chargers would have gotten the ball back with 1.5 minutes left in this one and could have absolutely taken this game, and we would all be feeling very different about the outlook of this season at 5-4. The Chargers only play one good team in the next 5 games, okay? They have the Packers this week. Then on Sunday Night Football, they take on the Ravens, and that is going to be the toughest game that they have until late December, all right? That is the stretch that we're talking about right here. At 4-5, the Chargers are just 2 games out of the playoff picture because of how clumped up the AFC has been, man. Anybody can win any given Sunday. That's how the NFL is. And also, Justin Herbert's finger is going to be at 100% soon, so we're going to have a fully healthy Justin Herbert. Joshua Palmer is coming back to this offense as well. We have seen a dominant offense, a pretty good defense, and a really good special teams at flashes in this season, but they have never come together cohesively in the same game. If they can do that, they can beat anybody in the NFL, man. The Lions had 177 yards rushing in the first half alone in this game, but in the second half, they only had 23 yards rushing. Also, they got 75 of those 177 yards on one play, and the Lions offense is one of the best in the NFL. So that makes the rushing defense look better when you take all of that into account. But still, man, listen, they got to get it together. 200 yards on the ground is still 200 freaking yards on the ground, and you can't let that happen. But with all of the talent on this team, we have a Justin Herbert. We have Keenan Allen, who hopefully is not too injured because we saw he had that shoulder injury late in this game. That is all that we really need on offense. The pass protection looked really good as this game went on, not allowing any pressure on Justin Herbert. The defense, we have seen them play really well. And in the second half of this game against the Lions, nobody's talking about they only allowed 23 yards rushing. Yes, the pass defense was not playing as well in the second half, but to show improvement and only allow 23 yards in the second half is a really good sign for the future, hopefully. My main takeaways that I want you guys to get from this is, number one, I do want Brandon Staley gone. Like I've been saying for the past few weeks, a lot of people in my comments have been saying I'm defending Brandon Staley. No, I'm just calling it how I see it. If he does something good, I will say it's good. If he does something bad, I will say it's bad. I still want him gone after the year. Also, Justin Herbert, when you have a guy like him, you always have a chance to win the freaking game. So at 4-5, the Chargers have an easy stretch coming up here, and they can absolutely get back into this, especially considering how the AFC is looking, man. Stay bolted up. I know this was a rough one, but we hung in there within 3 points against the 7-2 Lions that are one of the best teams in the NFL, probably going to be the top of the NFC at the end of this season, the 1 seed. If you didn't see my video yesterday where I went over everything that happened in the Lions game, you can click right here. I was a little angrier in this video, but I went over everything.